What if you shrank right now down to the size of an ant? Most people picture the same nightmare, getting stepped on, lost in the grass, eaten by a bird before lunch. Sounds terrifying, right?
Here's the surprise. A lot of what actually happens to you would be the opposite of terrifying.
And the one thing that actually could kill you is something you'd never expect. Why? To understand why, you need to know one rule that governs almost everything about size in nature. Scientists call it the square cube law. Here's the simple version. When something shrinks, its surface area shrinks slower than its volume does. Shrink something to 1/10 its size, and its volume, basically its weight, drops by 1,000 times. But its surface area only drops by 100 times. That mismatch is the reason literally everything about your new ant-sized life is about to change. Falling. Let's start with the good news. Right now, falling from a table would do nothing to you. Here's why. Your weight depends on your volume, but the air resistance slowing you down depends on your surface area. At ant size, surface area barely shrinks compared to weight, so you fall slower, gently, almost like a feather drifting down. There's actually a famous biology essay about this. A mouse can survive a fall that would kill a human, and an insect can survive a fall from a skyscraper completely unharmed. At your new size, gravity has basically lost its teeth. Strength. Now here's the part that sounds like a superpower. Muscle strength comes from the cross-section of a muscle, which is an area measurement. Your body weight comes from volume. Shrink down, and your strength-to-weight ratio skyrockets. This is exactly why ants can lift many times their own body weight, and you'd suddenly have that same absurd relative strength. Picking up a coin would feel like nothing. You'd be, pound for pound, one of the strongest things on the planet. Water. So far, shrinking sounds amazing. Here's where it flips completely. At your size, water stops behaving like water. Surface tension, a force you never even notice at human scale, becomes dominant. A single droplet wouldn't splash against you. It would wrap around you, hold you, and trap you. The same way a raindrop traps and kills countless insects every single day. You wouldn't be able to break the surface. Falling into a half-full glass of water wouldn't be an inconvenience. It would be one of the most dangerous situations of your new life. Breathing. And then there's the part that's not just dangerous, it might be fatal outright. Human lungs work by moving oxygen into blood, then pumping that blood through your body. That system depends on distance and volume working a certain way. At ant size, that entire system breaks down. Blood vessels become too small to function properly, and the distances, while tiny, are suddenly too inefficient for your blood-based system to keep up. I can't breathe. Insects solve this problem with something completely different. A network of tiny tubes called trachea, delivering oxygen directly to tissue with no blood involved at all. You don't have that system, which means at true ant size with human anatomy, your own lungs might not be able to keep you alive, regardless of every other advantage you just gained. So here's the full picture. Falling, barely dangerous anymore. Strength, dramatically increased. Water, suddenly one of the deadliest substances on Earth. And breathing, the one thing you do without ever thinking about it, might become the very thing your new body can't handle. All of that from one number changing: your size. So next time you brush past a tiny insect without a second thought, remember, at that scale, it's living in a version of physics completely different from yours, where the rules that keep you safe are the same ones that could kill it in a single drop of rain. Yeah, think about that!